Now I think I'm working. Finally, finally, finally. It's kind of funny. The internet goes, I tweet that I'm going to start streaming. Internet goes down. Fancy that. You know, and here I was just about to send out a tweet starting to bitch about how the internet goes down as soon as I announced that, hey, I'm going to be streaming, guys. Come look at me. Anyway, good morning, everyone. This is Soul. This is Warcraft Daily. This is the thing where I talk as fast as I can. Well, okay, I don't talk as fast as I can, but I guess I typically do. We got Lokuji who wants to say what's up. Hi, buddy. Well, okay, he's jumping for himself, not for me. I'm not that special, okay? Let's go over some of what has gone on in the past couple of days. One was my birthday. Yesterday was my birthday. It was a very quiet birthday, and I'm glad for that. It was nice and quiet and easygoing. Let me try to get some new. I can't even get my notes to come up. Okay, cool. So the internet does in fact kind of work, and I almost knocked over my coffee. Oh my god. That would have been devastating. Me, myself, what's up, dude? What's up, Matson? Did I forget to change the title? Absolutely. I obviously am thrown off. Hey, guys. Warcraft Daily here. Hi. Thank you, Matson. I appreciate that. I get a number of folks that nag me about that kind of on the regular. Hey, buddy, did you change it? Anyway, let's just get to like what is going on. What have we missed so far? I guess the biggest thing, obviously, is that Before the Storm, the book, is finally out, and we are slowly starting to get the trickle of reveals and information and basically anything that we had missed that wasn't already in the previews, because to be honest, there was a lot of stuff that was already in the previews, and that's kind of a bummer. But oh well. So if anyone does have any questions about the book, any information that I might not have talked about in the review that I had just put out earlier this morning, feel free to ask questions about the book. This is a spoiler-filled. This is going to be a spoiler-filled morning. So throughout here on YouTube or over on Twitch, when I switch over there in about 20 minutes or so, feel free to ask questions about the book, any details that I happen to remember off the top of my head, or I can just pull up. So. See, Matson says, on Sunday I got Ashes of Alar after 187 kills over the course of 3 years. Damn. Night after, you got the Green Protodrake on my second. Very nice, dude. Congratulations, dude. Callum, good morning, and good morning to all of you happy, smiling, digital faces. I appreciate all of you who are joining me this fine... Yeah, it's pretty bright outside. This fine Tuesday morning. It's warm. Oh, delicious. All right, so what aside from the book, was there anything that that happened to? Okay, there was that. There was the beta build, which I'm going to be going over with this beta build because I guess the biggest thing lore-wise that's going on is more clarifications that the entire burning of Teldrassil is once again this very vague event where. Maybe we know what's going on. Maybe we don't know what's going on. I'm starting to think that this is going to be the great red herring of the Battle for Azeroth, where we're just not going to find out how the tree was burned until like way forever from now, and we're not going to give a shit by the time it happens. And Calvin got 100 followers last night. Very nice, dude. And you got beta. Nice, dude. Scoreballs, what is up, dude? Let's see, Matson's nephews are going to be born today. That's right. I think you were mentioning that, I believe, the other week. So congratulations to you. Wait, nephews. So are they like twins? That's pretty crazy. Are to be... Wow, okay, that's crazy. So, like, within the span of like a minute or so, Matson's like, oh, my nephews are to be born today. Well, my nephews are finally born. Congrats to the mom who just like, boo, who just like rocketed that stuff out. That is a feat that many mothers are quite jealous of. God, labor in like a minute. That's amazing. That's like, it's like taking a, taking a quick number 2, right? That was very efficient. Personal bad news from me myself. I talked some time ago about my dog and diarrhea, well, unrelated to the poop, but next week she's gonna, oh no. I'm really sorry to hear that, man. that's I'm gonna try not to talk about that too much because that's just gonna start making me cry on stream. But it's next week. So you've got 7-ish days of absolute happiness between you and your pup. So live that up, because those are gonna be the most. Those are gonna be the best days of their life. You feel me? So let's see what's going on with this bill. Oh, there's this thing about during E3, one of the guys at E3 did an interview with IGN. His name's John Heights. He's one of the developers for WoW, for Battle for Azeroth. He mentioned something about playing as a blood troll, and when as someone who's played through the questing and all that stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that part, because, and I think there are a lot of people that happen to remember that part. Anyone who was there for BlizzCon last year, they played through a segment of the Battle for Azeroth demo where they got to play as a blood troll, because part of the quest line is that they build up some disguise, and then you wear the disguise, and then you kind of go through a little bit of the daily life of a blood troll. You're doing blood troll things, which all involve violence and red stuff, and that's it. But the way that it was worded, it was painfully it was poorly worded, the way that he said it, because it very much sounded like, oh my god, it's going to be an allied race. And the interviewer, at least to me, it sounded like he sarcastically said, oh yeah, it's going to be a new allied race, whatever. Okay, let's segue into what's going on with the allied races. But then the rumor started to spread. People started to jump to some pretty ridiculous conclusions. Oh my god, blood trolls, they're going to be a thing. And I'm not going to take away from people that, of course, haven't played through the quest line, aren't in the beta, that are like, oh wow, that's really cool. He just pretty much talked about it. But then it's funny because Blizzard had to go as far as clarifying, hey, you know what? What was said? No, it's not really said. Blood trolls are not planned to be an allied race, but that didn't come before a lot of folks took advantage of that and started talking about it. So they're not going to be an allied race. They are not a planned allied race. Sorry. Oh well. I mean, they look cool, but they look very unprepared to be an allied race anyway. There are a lot of technical reasons why they won't be, or they're not planned to be an allied race. All of the skins that we're seeing from them. Was there a ghost wolf following me? Hi, Japanese looking dude. Anyway, so I'm gonna hoof my slow ass all the way over to Nazmir, just so I can say hi to some blood trolls and all that. And I'm gonna hoof it because this mount is awesome. So I'm just gonna look at it for a while because it's like hi guys. He's like a mini me of an actual Brutosaur. It's like, I'm fully grown. No, not really. He's like a toy Brutosaur. I guess that would be the accurate way to describe it, right? Anyway, let me get back to some chats and all that stuff, because I'm going to be going over some of this beta stuff, the beta build stuff during the weekly, and also again answering any questions that people have about the Before the Storm book. All right. So they are twins. Let's see. Great news from Mad Dog, which I'll get to. He found his player. You found your player too, but you found a girl. Hey, nice. Congrats to Mad Dog for finding a companion. There's nothing bad I can say. There's nothing bad or witty that I can say about that. Well, you know, actually, no, I can. Now you have someone to farm for herbs for you. No, I'm just kidding. You're probably going to be farming herbs for her. That's probably how you got her into pants in the first place. Anyway, Zachary Nixon says he's having a bad day. Got a new car. Was trying to set up the Bluetooth. Long story short, the directions were unclear and got my dick caught in the ceiling fan second time this week. Damn. Lightforge blood trolls for the Alliance. Obviously, God, if it has two legs, they're obviously going to join. They're going to join some faction, and of course, the Alliance is all about truth, justice, and honor, and other and voices like this. So of course, blah 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 blah. Jay Brandon, what's up, dude? I got your dick kind of thing. He did big at me moving that fast. extra thick. Dude, look at him. Ah, it's magnificent. I love this. I already told myself, hey, don't buy the mount like day one because, well, obviously, don't buy this mount day one because it's 5 million gold. But there is a faction discount. At least as far as I know, there's a faction discount where I'll be able to pay only 4 million gold for this mount. But it's a really cool mount, and part of me is tempted to just get it day one so I can start questing with it, and then people would be like, way in the distance, holy shit, look at that guy all the way over there. Oh my god. It's so big and thick. Look at the girth on this thing. Oh my god, and look at the head. It's so well shaped and cuts. Ugh. Anyway. Lightforge Undead Blood Trolls allied race confirmed. And they gotta be gnome trolls. What are gnome trolls? Just use your imaginations. Just a gnome with a troll face sort of thing. So you met her on the way to Texas. She's an intern at NASA. She's Italian from New York. And she's about to start. Wait, didn't you just move from? Shit, I think it was Tennessee, right? Tennessee or Louisiana. I don't know why I keep screwing that up. But weren't you just moving? And you just met her, so that sounds fast. Maybe I'm missing something, but that sounds pretty fast. Trixie, what's up? How you doing? Just buying on a goblin day one. What? That means I need to make a goblin? Oh hell no! But you know, I didn't even think about the whole goblin thing. I didn't think about that at all. So you know what? Okay, where's these blood trolls at? So like these blood trolls, all these models were made uniquely. So these are like drawn. These pieces of armor and weapons and whatnot. They're like all attached. They're not exactly a unique model. It's not like they have an entirely unique animation style, but they are, you know, different. Like you pull up blood troll, you pull up the whole damn thing, armor and all. So they're pre-dressed. You know, they're all preset NPCs. So you wouldn't be able to play as something like this, unfortunately. Unless there was like some sort of toy. I was even looking for like a toy when John Haidt made that statement. I was like, okay, is there like a toy or something like that I don't know about, or is he just talking about this quest? It's just a quest. That's the only thing that I could find. I think Scoreballs, what's up, dude? Do you think people let their personal opinion on certain characters affect how they look at the bigger story Blizzard wants to tell? Absolutely. Oh yeah, dude, come on. We have, you know, I jokingly call myself a horde cuck, but people believe it. They're like, oh yeah, of course Soul is gonna have his slant towards the story. Of course it's gonna be all about the horde and pro horde and this and this and this and that. I'm more like pro chaos. I just like seeing shit hit the fan most of the time, and I like seeing how the characters interact and how they come out of it. I could care less, like, who I'm rooting for. I'm gonna play a horde because I don't know why anymore. I guess it started out as me just choosing horde because I just chose them, and now it's just I'm gonna stick. I'm not gonna change because man, that's a lot of video game to play. I don't have time to play. It's gonna be hard for me to play both factions, but absolutely, I do feel that people. That not everyone, of course, but some people, they take a strong bias towards a certain character because they want their character to come out on top. Sourfang for War Chief and all that sort of thing. When in actuality, I think Sourfang is a damn coward and doesn't deserve to be called War Chief, especially after the events of the Battle for Lordaeron and the events in the Stockades. But that's me. It's not like I'm saying, hey, Soladin for War Chief. Obviously, I'm like fully cut. Nipples and everything. I'm totally ready for this. No, not even. Craig, what's up? Hi, Soul, watching here from working in the UK. Aren't going to be getting off work soon. It's what, like 4 o'clock, something like that. But that's cool. You're going to be, hopefully you're going to be wrapping up soon. Unless you're doing like a mid shift, and bummer. I'm not saying that I'm in love. I'm just happy we clicked. It's hard to explain. Vanessa to my Deadpool, I guess. Okay, that's cool. Hey, dating ain't bad at all. Your Horde Biased Alliance is for idiots. You know, after reading the Before the Storm book, they certainly do make it look... Christy Golden certainly did make... he made the characters embrace who they are. Sylvanas is Evil is such a dumb word. I think it's a stupid word. In the World of Warcraft, I find it to be a silly phrase to just throw around because everyone. It feels like all the characters, they change a little bit. But when it comes to the Alliance, I find that they don't change. I find that very boring. I guess that's why I like the Horde better than the Alliance, is because stuff happens to them. They're just the more interesting and dramatic faction. For maybe not the best reasons, betrayal and all, and infighting and that sort of stuff. But that's what, in my opinion, that's what makes them interesting. The Alliance has been consistent with their ideals and all that, so that makes them attractive for a lot of players. But for me, it makes them boring. So it's hard to. I find it hard to feel invested into their story because it's like, oh, of course they're gonna come out of this because they're all about truth and justice and honor and blah blah blah. So whatever. When it comes to the Horde, it's like, who's going to betray who next? It's a Game of Thrones level kind of... Okay, it's not Game of Thrones level kind of shit, but it's a Game of Thrones light level kind of shit. So, yeah. Here's me saying something totally accusatory. The Horde is the thinking man's faction. You don't want to think too much, the Alliance is waiting for you. That's a terrible thing for me to say, but... Well, I said it. I guess there's no takebacks there. Scoreball says, like, one of my favorite moments I've seen so far is Sylvanas and Starfang arguing over honor versus survival because it makes you think about those different ideas of survival versus honor. Exactly. See, it's funny because you said that before I started saying stuff about, the thinking man's faction. But I do find that to be a very cool thing to explore. At what point do we draw the line at honor? Because I find that the idea of honor in Warcraft and in most literary works or in most fiction is super romanticized. I'd rather die than let my soul be corrupted or than to do the wrong thing and whatnot. Meanwhile, us normal people, like in the real world, we're like, dude, I want to live. I don't want to go out and like risk my ass going out there. I don't feel like protesting, man. I got a job. I want to keep my job. I got kids to feed and all that stuff. but that's the whole idea of reading these books and playing these MMO RPGs, is so that we can play the part that we otherwise wouldn't play as a normal person. That's how I feel about it. So the idea of survival versus honor, like I've touched on that a number of times in a number of videos, and I'm fascinated by that subject. And my hope is that Saurfang not sees the light, but he sees some practicality in what Sylvanas is trying to do. It's very ruthless for Sylvanas to have the idea to just straight up crush the Alliance. But at the same time, what would you rather have? Would you rather crush the other faction, or would you kind of half-ass it and go through this prolonged thing that the Horde and Alliance have been dealing with for years and years and years? Maybe her way is worth looking at. So we'll just have to see. Dawn, what's up? How's it going? Happy late birthday. Hope you have a good one. I did have a good one because it was nice and quiet. My sister took me out for to get a massage somewhere. We had lunch together, and it was nice. It was quiet. And then I spent the rest of the day at home kind of resting because I binged through the Before the Storm book, read through it, and I started to write up, okay, maybe I'll try and do a review. I tried shooting a few review kind of videos, and then after like half an hour of recording, I'd be like, this kind of sucks, and I just kind of shut it off and I take a nap or I have a drink or something. And I'm just by the end of the night, I had something. I'm like, okay, I can use this. I can put something together with this. So it was good. Thank you, Don, and thank you. And I want to thank everyone that said their happy birthdays and all that stuff. I really appreciate that. So I got 8 minutes left until it's time for me to go to Twitch. So let's keep going through chat a little bit while I take my little walking tour of a beautiful Nazmir. Okay, not beautiful, but a decent looking Nazmir. It's easy. Scoreball says it's easy to sit back and say Sylvanas is evil, Lich King 2.0, but to me that seems like an incredibly dense and shallow view of the story. I find it funny because critics rightly are concerned about Sylvanas's mindset and things that she's going through. I see a more simple explanation, such as what you're saying. Sylvanas is evil. Like there is no. It's the whole morally gray thing, which has become a meme at this point. But it doesn't come from. But it's being spread, I would say, not by people who really want to sit down and think what's going on in Sylvanas's head. It's people that just stopped thinking about it and just came to their conclusion and like that's it. It's very reactionary. They just look at it feels like those kinds of critics, they just look at what's going on, come to their conclusion, and like that's it. They don't really want to. They seem to not really want to think about it. But oh well. Partly thanks to you, Soul. Your vids and streams kept me up when I was depressed. Hey, I really appreciate that, Mad Dog. Actually, no, I don't. Not really. I'm thankful that you shared that. And I am glad that whatever it is that I'm doing did something for you. I'm just a guy. I'm just a common WoW fan trying to talk uncommon things and trying to have fun with it. And if I can get your mind off of the bad shit in the world, then sweet. Sweet. Let's see. Alliance is boring, says J. Brandon Mercer. Humans in real life playing human characters in a fantasy game, a way to use your imagination. Alliance is like Full House. I'm not gonna fully agree with that, but it kind of feels like that, where they encounter something and then they overcome it like within a 30-minute episode or something like that. That's kind of how I'm seeing it, and then otherwise they're like pretty happy-go-lucky. Sylvanas is closer to the Lich King than anything else. Actually, I totally disagree with that. I think the Lich King is, a non-directional character. I think the Lich King is very boring. I think Arthas is fascinating. Arthas as a character is fascinating, but once you put on that helmet, it's whatever. He's actually, once he picked up Frostmourne, he became much less interesting. He was pretty much fully under the control of Ner'zhul, the Lich King. And then when he put on the helmets, he lost whatever little bits of personality that he had left. He became incredibly boring. Sylvanas is still interesting because Sylvanas is still making the decisions on her own. As far as we know, she's still making the decisions on her own, and I don't see her exactly being under the control or influence of anything else after her trauma with being under the thrall of Arthas, of Ner'zhul the Lich King. She's like, no way, I don't want to be a part of that shit. Fuck that. So that's how I feel about it. Exactly, she's the war chief. The Horde needs not the one that they deserve. I don't know what the Horde deserves at this point, dude. Happy birthday, he says. Very cool. Probably missed me on Twitch. Callum's gonna miss me on Twitch today, which is a bummer. Which beta server am I on? So I can hunt me down. I am on, I think I'm on Anduin. Yeah, I believe I'm on the Anduin server right now. Lori, what's up? And good morning. It's kind of like being a good pen pod, just like that you talked to each of us like. I try to. I'm still very glad that these streams are, for the most part, they're very personal. I try to know everyone by name. I can, for the most part, tell whenever there's a new name that starts up a conversation in chats, for the most part. It doesn't help a lot with the growth and all that stuff, but oh well. So the few of you who I have, I appreciate all of you who like show up pretty much each and every morning, each and every stream to say hi and what's up and all that stuff. Even though game-wise, I'm like doing nothing. I'm not even really, I'm not talking about whatever I'm doing in game. I'm just kind of like doing whatever. But of course, I love talking about WoW, the World of Warcraft, and all this book stuff. But I think Sylvanas just didn't get enough airtime in this book. There could have been a little bit more that could have been talked about with her. This felt very much like Anduin's coming of age as a king kind of story, with his thoughts his mistakes, his misgivings, and his intentions, which are almost cavity-inducing. And even the faction, even the big names, Terralion, Gen Greymane, Velen, and whatnot, even they're like, oh wow, this guy is all about the Kool-Aid. He's so into like his ideas. Oh my god. So, but it takes considerable efforts for me to try to twist that into something that's even remotely nefarious. The best thing I can say is that Anduin is a new leader. He's immature. He doesn't want to listen to anybody. He's like, okay, cool, thanks for your counsel, but I'm the damn king, and this is what we're going to try doing, even if you think it's a bad idea. And guess what? It was a really bad idea. He really shouldn't have done what he did. It was a bonehead move. What he proposed in the Before the Storm book is not a great path to peace. Not something that appeals to Sylvanas. Because if he knew her at all, he wouldn't have thought, oh, what do the Forsaken want? Family. Not exactly. They don't want family. That's how I strongly feel about it. The Forsaken don't want family. If anything, it is the fact that they're all freaking undead that creates an instant state of togetherness. Hey, we're all dead people. We're all in this together. You want to go off on your own? Good fucking luck, because it ain't a very nice world out there for people who are like not alive. Good luck going to the Alliance, especially with the stuff that we see in the book. Folks like Gen Greymane and even Terralion at first had very strong misgivings about the undead, ready to just smite them at a moment's notice. Okay, it's kind of like being I saw that part. Listening to the smooth, soul-y voice though. This is what I do. Shoot, too bad you can't just pull up in like an audio-only version of like stuff going on Twitch and all that stuff. Then you can at least listen the whole time. Hope to see me one day like at BlizzCon. Are you going to BlizzCon, Mad Dog? I don't remember seeing anything about that. Jared, what's up, dude? Is this BFA content? Yeah, sure. It's kind of BFA content. Although I am going to be switching over to Twitch.tv in just a few minutes, so I can basically do all this stuff plus music. So I'd love to hang out with all you folks. And we'll be talking about more of this stuff, Before the Storm, the plot, the storyline of that's coming up in the Battle for Azeroth expansion, because I am making strong efforts to make the story not as simple as we think it's going to be, which is hard to do because for the most part Blizzard does try to write a very easy and simple to understand story. The problem is that we as players and fans and critics really want to make it complicated and Game of Thronesy as fuck. But it won't be. So I recommend you set yourself up for some disappointment, or don't set yourself up for disappointment and just kind of take the story as it is. But I'm happy to talk about like these daily changes and all that stuff. Like you watch my streams for ASMR, dude. This shit is this is like single directional, man. I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's weird. Although I do ASMR stuff, but oh well. I still don't see how this leads to war. We have had many worse things happen. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit when I switch over. I know Anduin is probably deeper than I'm giving him credit for, but to me, he's too good in the book. Like, his biggest flaw is sometimes he's not good enough to save the day. I'm really not a fan of this whole Divine Bell thing, which I'll talk about over on Twitch, too. He also says that Anduin comes out as flat. I know he's supposed to take over the Horde and Alliance for the final battle between Light and Dark. Is he? That insists that he's destined to follow the path of the Son of the Wolf comic. If that's like destined, I don't remember seeing any Horde there. As far as I saw, it was just him and a bunch of Draenei. Like, that was about it. I hope he gets some dirt and biff with that character. We're gonna make him not so sparkly. Yeah, his bones ache when he does bad things. Like, yeah, that's like cringeworthy shit. That is something I'm totally not a fan of. It's like, that's your superpower, huh? My super. So what's your superpower, Anduin? My superpower is that if I think bad things, then it hurts. That's it. That's your fucking power. You only have the power to make like the right decision. I'm convinced there's like a little old god fucker like living inside Anduin's head. It's like it's like, oh, he's not doing it our way, boys. You know, start shaking the bones and all that. So all right. So anyway, for all you folks that are here, I'm going to be over at twitch.tv/SoulSoBreezy. There is a link below. And I'm going to be sure, we can talk smack about Anduin for a little bit. I think that for his actions in the Before the Storm book, I think he needs to get punched around a little bit, because his burdens, they feel, I don't know, it's hard for me to be nice about my, not critique about Anduin, because I think Christy Golden is writing Anduin the best way that she can, but I think they're going a little bit too far. So anyway, I'll see you folks in just a few minutes. Like I said, twitch.tv/SoulSoBreezy. But if you don't care for that, I do plan on having some video content out. It's going to be a short one. It's going to be me talking a little bit about the Battle for Azeroth and what we as PvEers are going, a little bit of what we're going to expect in the near future. So, hope to see you over there. And if not, I'll be really sad. Bummer. Oh well. But I hope to see you in a few minutes. So I'll see you in a bit. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and as always, stay breezy. Bye 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 bye.